Struggle is proof that you're growing, and so many people miss that. They look at hard times and think it's a sign that they're failing, when in reality, it's the opposite. You don't grow when everything is easy, you grow when life puts weight on your back. Think about working out in the gym. If you pick up something light, it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't stretch you, it doesn't build your muscles. You could lift it all day and remain the same. But when you put weight on the bar that feels uncomfortable, that feels heavy, that feels like it might break you down, that's when you actually grow. The resistance is what makes you stronger. Life works the same. The moment things get difficult, that's the moment you know growth is happening. When you're going after a dream, it's not supposed to feel easy. That struggle you're feeling is the universe's way of preparing you for the blessing you asked for. You said you wanted to be successful. Well, success requires pressure. You said you wanted a bigger life. Well, a bigger life requires bigger tests. Struggle is the classroom of growth, and pain is the tuition you have to pay. Every sleepless night, every setback, every doubt, every failure. That's all part of the process. If you weren't struggling, you wouldn't be moving. Stagnation is comfortable, but comfort doesn't produce greatness. Too many people quit right in the middle of their struggle. They see the obstacles, the rejection, the long hours, and they start thinking maybe it's not for them. But what they don't realize is the struggle is not a sign to quit, it's a sign to keep pushing. The fact that it's hard means you're stretching beyond who you used to be. You're being shaped into the person who can handle the success you're asking for. If you quit during the struggle, you miss the growth, and if you miss the growth, you're not ready for the blessing. Think about a seed underground. Before it ever becomes a tree, it has to push through dirt, darkness, and pressure. Nobody sees that process. Nobody claps for the seed while it's fighting its way upward. But that struggle is what makes the roots strong enough to hold the tree when it finally breaks through the surface. If the seed gave up underground, the world would never see its potential. You're the same way. Right now, you might feel buried, surrounded by darkness, weighed down by problems. But what if you're not buried? What if you're planted? What if that struggle is not your ending but your beginning? Struggle is proof that growth is happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. When life gets hard, instead of saying, "Why me?" start saying, "Try me," because the challenge in front of you is proof that you're being elevated. Every successful person you admire has their story of struggle. Steve Harvey himself was homeless, living in his car for 3 years, wondering if it was worth it. Oprah was fired from her first TV job. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. These people didn't succeed because life was easy. They succeeded because they kept going when life got hard. The struggle built their strength, their character, their resilience. Without the struggle, they wouldn't have the success. Struggle also teaches you things about yourself you would never know otherwise. You discover how strong you are, how much you can endure, how creative you can be under pressure. You learn discipline, patience, and persistence. You learn to appreciate things you once took for granted. The lessons you get in struggle can't be learned in comfort. Struggle forces you to grow into the version of yourself you're meant to be. Sometimes people pray for growth, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. They want the blessing but not the burden. But growth doesn't come in peace, it comes in pressure. You don't get patience without waiting, you don't get strength without resistance. You don't get wisdom without failure. Struggle is the only road to real growth, and the more you embrace it, the faster you'll evolve. Even the pain of struggle has value. Pain makes you pay attention, pain humbles you, pain keeps you hungry. Pain tells you there's more in you than what you've given. And once you've gone through enough pain, you come out with a new level of confidence. Because you can look back and say, if I survive that, I can survive this. Struggle is proof that you're not the same person you were yesterday. You're stronger, wiser, tougher. Most people want the glory without the grind, but life doesn't work that way. If you see someone shining, don't just admire the light. Respect the darkness they had to fight through to get there. The struggle they endured is what produced the glow you see now. And if you're in your struggle right now, understand that one day, people will look at you and admire your strength. But they won't even know half of what you went through. The struggle is shaping your story, and your story will inspire somebody else to keep going. That's why struggle is a gift. It doesn't feel like it when you're in it, but years later, you'll look back and realize the hardest times were the moments that built you. The struggle didn't break you, it built you. The struggle didn't stop you, it strengthened you. And the fact that you're still here, still standing, still trying, is proof that you're growing. Motivation is a great spark. It's the thing that makes you feel excited in the beginning. The thing that pushes you to say, I'm going to start this today. But motivation doesn't last. It's emotional, it's fleeting, and it changes with your mood, your environment, and your circumstances. One day you wake up feeling inspired, ready to take on the world, and the next day you wake up tired, stressed, or discouraged. If your whole life is built only on motivation, then the moment it disappears, you stop. That's why discipline is so much more important than motivation. Discipline is what carries you forward when the excitement is gone. Discipline is what makes you keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. The difference between successful people and those who quit isn't that they're more motivated all the time. It's that they've trained themselves to act even without motivation. Think about it like this: motivation is like the flame of a match, quick and bright, but it burns out fast. Discipline is like the sun, steady and consistent, rising every day whether you feel like it or not. If you want real success, you can't depend on temporary sparks. You need that steady force that keeps going no matter what. Discipline is making a decision in advance about how you're going to live, and then sticking to it regardless of how you feel in the moment. Feelings change, but discipline is a commitment to yourself. Maybe you're trying to lose weight, and at first you're motivated. You buy the gym clothes, you watch videos, you feel excited about the results. But after a week, your body is sore, you're tired, and you don't see big changes yet. That's when motivation starts fading. The question is, will discipline step in? Discipline says, I made a decision to go to the gym 3 times a week, so I'm going whether I feel like it or not. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't ask for permission from your feelings, it just acts. Some people think discipline is about punishment or restriction, but really it's about freedom. Discipline gives you freedom from regret, freedom from excuses, and freedom from staying stuck. When you're disciplined, you don't have to rely on inspiration because you've built habits that carry you through. It's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it works. The little consistent steps you take add up over time, and that's how you build a life you can be proud of. Discipline is the bridge between intention and success. So many people have intentions, dreams, goals, and desires. They talk about what they want, they imagine it, they even get excited about it. But without discipline, those dreams never leave their imagination. Intention without discipline is just wishful thinking. The only way you get from where you are to where you want to be is by doing the work day after day, even when it's not fun, even when it's not easy, even when no one is clapping for you. When motivation fades, most people stop because they think they've lost the spark. But the truth is, the spark isn't supposed to stay. It's only supposed to get you started. The real work is carried by discipline. Take athletes, for example. The best in the world don't wake up every day excited to train. They don't always feel motivated to push their bodies to the limit. But their discipline makes them stick to the schedule, follow the diet, do the drills, and repeat the process day in and day out. That's why they win. That's why they reach levels others only dream of. Their success is not built on feelings. It's built on discipline. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. When you say you're going to do something, and you follow through, you start to believe in your own word. That belief becomes confidence, and that confidence carries you into even bigger challenges. On the other hand, when you only act when you feel motivated, you break promises to yourself every time your mood shifts. You losing confidence and feeling stuck. Discipline is the tool that flips that. It builds consistency, and consistency builds results, and results build confidence. Motivation is like a visitor, but discipline is like a permanent resident in your life. Visitors come and go, but residents stay. When you've trained yourself to rely on discipline, you can keep moving forward no matter what season you're in. Some days you'll feel inspired, some days you'll feel tired, some days you'll feel hopeless. But none of that matters when you have discipline. You don't negotiate with your goals, you don't bargain with your future, you just keep moving because you decided long ago that this is who you are now. Discipline also separates the amateurs from the professionals. Amateurs show up only when they feel like it. Professionals show up because it's their standard. If you treat your dream like an amateur, only giving it effort when you're motivated, you'll never reach the level you're capable of. But when you treat your dream like a professional, showing up every day with discipline, eventually the world will treat you like a professional too. The results will speak louder than your feelings. Another truth about discipline is that it creates momentum. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, the next one becomes a little easier and then the next. Motivation might not get you started some days, but if you just take that disciplined first step, write the first sentence, take the first jog, make the first call, you create motion. Motion turns into momentum, and momentum brings back that motivation. Funny thing is, discipline can actually generate motivation. You don't have to wait to feel inspired. You act first, and the feeling comes later. Discipline is also what keeps your dreams safe when life throws distractions your way. There will always be excuses, always be temptations, always be reasons to quit. But discipline is your anchor. It keeps you focused on the bigger picture. When your friends are out partying, but you know you need to wake up early to chase your goal, discipline helps you choose your future over your fun. When life feels unfair and everything in you wants to quit, discipline whispers, keep going, this is who you are. That steady voice of discipline will always be stronger than the loud, temporary voice of motivation. At the end of the day, discipline is a choice. It's not about waiting for the right time, the right mood, or the right opportunity. It's about choosing to act now, no matter how you feel. Feelings are temporary, but discipline creates permanent change. Motivation might get you to start, but discipline will make sure you finish. And finishing is where success lies. Faith is one of the most powerful forces a person can have, especially when the road ahead looks uncertain. There will be times in life when nothing seems to add up, when all the effort you've put in hasn't produced results yet, and when everything around you seems to say it's not going to work out. That's when faith becomes your anchor. Faith is believing in the unseen, trusting in what you can't prove yet, holding on to the possibility of something greater, even when the evidence is not there. It's easy to believe when everything looks good, but real faith shows up when things look hopeless. When you're chasing a dream or trying to build a new life, you will hit moments where your reality doesn't match your vision. You'll be working hard, showing up every day, sacrificing, and still it feels like nothing is changing. That's where most people quit, because they rely only on what they can see. But faith tells you that what you see is not the full story. Faith tells you there's something bigger happening behind the scenes. Even if you can't see the progress, it doesn't mean progress isn't being made. Just like a seed planted underground doesn't show growth above the soil right away, your effort might not show results immediately, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Faith keeps you watering that seed until the breakthrough comes. Faith requires you to trust the process when the process feels painful. Sometimes you'll be in seasons where everything feels delayed, where doors seem closed, where rejection becomes routine. Faith says, keep moving, even though you don't understand it right now. Without faith, you'll stop in that season and let discouragement define you. With faith, you keep walking, because you believe something greater is on the other side. Faith doesn't remove the struggle, but it gives you strength to endure the struggle. People often confuse faith with wishful thinking, but they're not the same. Wishful thinking is just hoping something might happen without any action. Faith is different. It's active. Faith makes you work when you don't feel like it. Faith makes you get up after every failure. Faith makes you step into opportunities you're not even sure you're ready for. Faith gives you courage because it tells you that even if you can't see the finish line, you know it's there. It keeps you moving forward when logic says you should stop. Think about how many successful people had to live on faith before anyone else believed in them. Steve Harvey was homeless, living in his car, with nothing but a belief that comedy would work out for him. Nobody around him could see what he saw, but faith kept him driving to gigs, kept him practicing, kept him moving forward. Oprah Winfrey had faith in her gift even after being told she wasn't fit for television. Tyler Perry spent years with failed plays, living in his car, before his breakthrough came. Faith in the unseen is what carried them through the seasons that made no sense. They didn't quit because their eyes couldn't see success yet. They trusted their vision, and they trusted God's timing. Faith also teaches you patience. We live in a world where people want instant results, instant money, instant recognition, instant success. But real transformation takes time, and faith is what helps you wait without quitting. Patience isn't just sitting around doing nothing. Patience is working steadily, preparing, growing, and trusting that the right moment will come. Faith allows you to keep moving forward even when your reward hasn't shown up yet, because you know deep down that delay is not denial. Faith is also necessary when you face fear. Fear is loud. It tells you all the reasons something won't work. It magnifies the risks and minimizes the possibilities. But faith drowns out fear. Faith says, yes, I don't know exactly how this will work, but I'm going to take the step anyway. Every great achievement requires someone to step out on faith, to move even without certainty. If you wait until you know every detail and every outcome, you'll never move. Faith isn't about knowing the whole path. It's about trusting the next step. Faith also allows you to see purpose in your pain. Sometimes life will throw challenges at you that make no sense in the moment. You'll wonder why you had to go through heartbreak, loss, rejection, or failure. But faith lets you believe that nothing is wasted, that every painful moment is shaping you, preparing you, or teaching you something you'll need later. When you look back, the pieces connect, but during the struggle, faith is what keeps you moving forward even without answers. Another important part of faith is learning to lean on something greater than yourself. You won't always have the strength, the clarity, or the resources you think you need, but faith reminds you that you're not walking alone. Whether you call it God, the universe, or destiny, faith keeps you connected to a power beyond your own. And when your own strength runs out, faith gives you the courage to keep stepping. Many times, breakthroughs happen not because someone was the strongest or the smartest, but because they simply refused to let go of faith. Faith is also contagious. When you walk in faith, other people see it. They see you moving even when things don't make sense. They see you holding on when others quit. They see you trusting when others doubt. And your faith can inspire them to find their own. Sometimes your journey isn't just about you, but about the people who will be encouraged by your courage. That's why faith is so powerful. It doesn't just move you forward, it lights the way for others too. At the same time, faith is personal. You can't borrow someone else's faith forever. You have to develop your own conviction, your own belief, your own trust in the unseen. People may doubt you. People may walk away. People may not understand your vision. But if you have faith, that's enough. Faith is that inner voice that says, don't stop now. Something better is ahead. The truth is, life will not always make sense. There will be seasons where nothing adds up, where your effort feels wasted, where the results don't come when you expect. But faith doesn't need proof to move. It only needs belief. And when you keep moving with faith, eventually, what was unseen becomes seen. The dream that felt impossible becomes real. The season that felt endless finally shifts. And when it happens, you'll realize faith was carrying you the whole time.